Well, here it is, the 29th of September 2024, and it is finally time to step outside and put the Yamaha Inviter back together. That's right, I finally got all of the unobtainium parts obtained, and those that I couldn't obtain, I created, made, built, modified, made it work. Anyway, let's go outside and let's put this thing back together and see if we can get this beast started up and running today. Hi everybody, welcome back to the 1988 Yamaha Inviter. And in the last video, of course, you guys saw me rebuilding the water pump. Actually, I think there was 2 of them in that series, I'm not sure. But here I'm getting ready to put everything all back together. It's finally time to do this. It's the end of September, believe it or not, and it's 80 degrees out here, so it's pretty warm. As you remember, we had to take the cylinder head off in order to change the water pump. So I'm pulling that back apart. Of course, I didn't tighten everything. Pardon the camera jerk over there on one. That happens. So that's the spark plug thing hanging out there. I was wondering what that was hanging out back in there. So it's like I shouldn't have anything hanging out over there, but that's that. Get these cylinder head bolts off, get this thing taken apart, and put it back together. It sounds kind of stupid. You got to take it apart to put it together, but all right, there it is. The head is off. And like I said, if you guys looking at the video over here, you can see that the water pump actually feeds into the cylinder head. So that means I got to put the water pump on first. And I have the hood retainer cable hooked up to this one, so we need to take that off. And I do have something sitting in front of there to make the hood so it doesn't just flop over and break. Because this being a 1988 model, I would imagine hood parts for this thing are pretty much unobtainium. Seems to be one of my favorite words when it comes to working on this machine is unobtainium. Seems to be an operative here. Okay, hey, we put a little bit more light on it too. There we go. It's resting up against my chair. All right, now let's get the water pump installed. And I got really lucky on Evil Bay and found a gasket for it. I'm missing one of the drift pins. I'm sure I threw it out with the old pump housing, but I think I can make this work with any luck. There we go. And I think if I get one of the bolts started, I should be pretty much home free on this. And there we are. We are started. Okay, water pump's installed. Good night, everybody. No, just kidding. Yeah, no. The snarky sense of humor is still there. I have not torqued that down to spec yet. I'm going to wait till I get everything installed here and then do that. I believe that's like 10 foot-pounds? 12? I have to look that up. Now this is the first time this machine has had a water pump on it, and or a coolant pump technically, in quite some time. That bolt is being very stubborn. Back the other ones off just a little bit so I can kind of move things around. There we go. But there we go. They're all at least hand tight anyway. Let's see if I can get in there with a socket. Don't want to torque them down right away. And this may not. Yeah, I'm going to take the pulley off. It sounds like a Borealis train to me. There we go. I made that look easy, but as you can tell the noise in the background, there are several parts that came out with that pulley. There's little spacers inside of it that adjust for your belt tension and so forth. Well, there we go. The water pump is installed. Put the pulley back together. Now this is going to be the interesting part. Make sure that belt is engaged in the lower pulley fully before going much further, which it is. I don't know if you guys can see on the camera or not, but there it is. There. think we have it. 3 little spacers that go in between, like this. We set the outer one on. Make sure there's like a little half moon looking thing in there. You want to make sure that that's lined up when you put this all together. Otherwise, it may not go together properly and you might end up breaking things. And believe me, there's been enough broken things on this machine already. You don't need any more of that. I gotta find the flat spot on the shaft. There it is, facing toward the front of the machine. There it is. Hey, did you guys see what I did with that nut? There it is. Thanks. Alright, there we go. I think I got it. I guess we'll find out when I go to tighten it, huh? Let's try the correct socket. Sometimes that helps. Another Amtrak. At least it sounds like Amtrak. It may not be Amtrak. Sounds like it. Alright. That's on. Just make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. Looks good to me. You don't need everything super tight on there. I think that belt is plenty tight enough. There. Water pump is now officially installed. I'm just going to give that center nut just a little bit of an extra twist on it just to make sure. Yes, it was a little bit loose. I bumped into you guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, camera 1 is not sitting real stable these days, so I might have to shut down and regroup on that. Alright, so when I grab a hold of the pull rope on this, which you guys can't see, there we go. It didn't come off, so I must have done something right. Okay. Alright, it's time to put the cylinder head on this thing, and I got the gasket here. This is not a brand new one, believe it or not. This is the old one that actually came off of this engine originally, if you remember what kind of shape that was in. Yeah, it didn't look like it was salvageable, but I used a product called Copper Coat at a suggestion of one of my best friends. Said he uses it all the time, and it works for him and he loves it. I've read a lot of good things about it, so there it is. I do have the brand new head gasket for it, but these are pretty much unobtainium, so I'm going to hold on to this as long as I can, being the hoarding mentality that I am, before I try to put it on there. Now, the trick is, I can slide the cylinder head on here, got to get it over this O-ring. I'll make life a little bit easier for that O-ring by putting a little bit of coolant on there. Coolant has a lubricating quality built into it. I'm going to take just a couple drops of that. A large cap full. I didn't need quite that much, but I'll put it on there anyway. Be generous with it. And I'm also going to take a little bit and put inside of the housing over here. Not going to hurt if you swap that around a little bit. There we go. And I'm not sure if you guys could see it or not, but there it is. Let's slide the cylinder head on here and hope we don't move that gasket out of place. This is tricky. There we go. That wasn't as tricky as I thought it was going to be. Put that bolt in first. And hope everything stayed lined up, which I don't think it did. Ah, yes. I believe we have a bolt started. Yes, no we don't. This could take a couple of tries here, so let's kind of spit in the wind and hope for the best. I'm going to try it on the other side over here. There we go, on through the gasket, and we're in. Nice to see this engine going back together finally. Okay, let's go back here. Finger tightening them first. I'm going to get the torque wrench out now. I'm not going to go straight to 18 pounds right away. I'll take them to 12 first time around. Yeah, this wrench clicks real quietly. Alright, we're at 12 now. Let's take it up to 18. Actually, we're at 10. But who's counting, right? There we go. We're lined up at 18. Go through it all over again. There we go. I think it's time to put some coolant in this thing. Alright, as you can see, I had the cameras off for a moment or two. I found a funnel to start pouring the stuff in. What I want to do is pour it in on this side here. It runs down through the heat exchanger under the seat, comes back in through this tube here, into the engine, and with any luck at all, we'll see coolant starting to come out of that right there once it's full. Now, theoretically, there's 2 quarts in this, so you're probably asking me why I did not start this up before putting coolant in. And the answer is simple. The water pump needs coolant in it to keep it lubricated. That seal that we put in there, it's called the mechanical seal. And if you don't have coolant in there, that mechanical seal gets dry and burn it up. And I really don't feel like tearing that water pump down again. And here we got water coming out. Well, I should say coolant, actually, coming out already on the cylinder head. That is green stuff, so that's not the blue stuff that we're putting in there. I'm going to dump a little bit more in here. Kind of purge out the old stuff. And the bees do seem to like this coolant. So there was obviously still a considerable amount of coolant still in there when I started this. And yeah, I'm getting a little bit carried away here. But yeah, half a quart should not have actually filled this all the way up. So you can see the coolant that's coming out of here is blue. Coolant coming out of there is still green. So we need to purge the system with the green stuff. Okay, 1 quart in. This one should be it. It's looking a little more blue coming out of there. I think we're going to call that good for the moment. Connect the hoses back up. And I hear lots of bubbling going on in there. And I hear a lawnmower coming this direction. So, hey. Like I said, there's a magical button on this camera that says record, and it calls everybody out of their house when I push the button to record. So that's how that goes. So what I'm going to do is take the cap off of this, dump a little bit of coolant into that tank, and we're going to be ready to start this thing up in just a couple of minutes, believe it or not. Aw, I got a neighborhood cat hanging out here. Hey buddy, how you doing? No, he's off camera. You can't see him. But he's hanging out by me today. Had to get this in there. A little bit of random cabbage never hurts. Hanging out by me. Keeping me company this afternoon. One of our neighborhood ferals. And for some reason he decided I'm his friend today. So, cool. Alright, hoses are connected. Let's get these clamps reconnectified. You guys can see what I'm doing here. 2, got 3 to go. Okay. Put these down, and I've got the key in it already, as you can see over here. Let's see if it'll even crank. Oh, nice. Okay, well, it turns over. It's got compression. Let's connect a few more things. Here we go. Uh-oh. I killed the battery. You don't want to go. Here we go. We got life. It lives. Told you it was going to be loud. Plug your ears. Told you it was going to be loud. All right, I'm going to shut the cameras off, get the muffler out, put everything all back together. I'll be right back. Well, there it is. I did this all off camera, put it all back together. I figured you guys saw me tear it all apart, so if you want to see me put it back together, just watch those videos in reverse, and you'll see how it goes back together, kind of. Anyway, now that I got everything put together, let's see what it sounds like and see how it runs. I'm going to call this one a success story, guys. The Yamaha inverter, the engine part of it is all put back together. I'll have to run a little bit of a heat cycle on it, get the coolant back circulating around in there, make sure everything's all topped up where it's supposed to be. Yeah, otherwise she's ready for snow. Now let's bring on winter.